He pitches like an ace and hits like a slugger. Shohei Ohtani was not just born to play baseball, he was built differently. From a quiet kid in Japan to the biggest two-way superstar the sport has ever seen, his rise is historic. Nobody's done what he's doing. Not Babe Ruth, not anyone. So how did this 1 in a billion child become the face of baseball? And maybe the greatest of all time? This is the unbelievable story of Shohei Ohtani. He was already doing things no one had seen before, but what Shohei Ohtani did in 2024 wasn't just baseball history, it was human history. No one had ever hit 50 home runs and stolen 50 bases in a single season. Not Babe Ruth, not Barry Bonds, no one, just Shohei. But this didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of a journey most athletes would have broken under. Shohei wasn't born in a baseball city. He wasn't born into a system built to create superstars. He came from Mizusawa, a quiet place in Japan, 3 hours from Tokyo by train. The weather wasn't great for baseball. The resources weren't top tier. But Shohei had something else. Obsession. He and his father treated his progress like a science experiment, tracking every step, every mistake, every win. From a young age, he was throwing heat and crushing balls. By 17, he was already throwing 99 miles per hour. But instead of chasing fame overseas right away, he stayed in Japan and made history there first. He could have taken the money. He could have gone to the US straight out of high school and cashed in. Instead, he chose a Japanese team that promised to let him chase a crazy dream, to be both a hitter and a pitcher. That was unheard of. The sport wasn't built for that. The pros weren't built for that. But Shohei didn't care. While most players were just trying to stay healthy enough to survive one position, he was hitting bombs and blowing fastballs past batters in the same game. And then he came to the US and people laughed. Scouts doubted his swing. Pundits said his body wouldn't hold up. He wasn't ready. Spring training wasn't great, and the noise got louder. But then came opening day. First at-bat, base hit. First pitching start, dominant. Just like that, the Shohei era in America began. He was something baseball hadn't seen in 100 years. A player who could do everything. But just as quickly as it started, things got rough. Injuries hit him hard. Elbow trouble, knee surgery, short seasons, and doubters coming back louder than ever. In 2020, he hit under 200. On the mound, he couldn't make it through a single inning. The pressure was immense. The noise was relentless. But Shohei didn't walk away. He didn't drop pitching. He didn't hide behind excuses. He regrouped. The thing about Shohei that sets him apart from even the best is that every time it looked like he'd reached his limit, he made that his new starting point. That frustration he carried into the 2021 season, he turned it into fuel. What came next wasn't just a bounce back but a total takeover. In 2021, Shohei didn't just silence the doubters. He turned the whole baseball world upside down. This wasn't a comeback, it was a warning shot. He wasn't here to prove people wrong, but to reset the standard. That season, he played nearly every single day. He was pitching, he was hitting, he was stealing bases, and he was doing it all like he'd been built in a lab. He smashed 46 home runs. He stole over 25 bases. He struck out more than 150 batters, all in the same year. For the first time, fans saw a player who could be their favorite pitcher and slugger, and not just on paper, on the same night. He started games on the mound and hit leadoff for the American League in the All-Star game. That had never happened in the history of baseball. But what made that season even crazier was how normal it started to feel. People got used to seeing him hit a homer one day and strike out 10 the next. He was putting up video game numbers, but it was real life. And all this while playing for a team that wasn't even winning. The Angels missed the playoffs again, but nobody could ignore what Ohtani was doing. Then came 2022. It wasn't a fluke. He might have been even better. His ERA dropped. His power stayed. He was in the MVP race again. He didn't win it because Aaron Judge hit 62 homers, but even Judge said Ohtani's two-way game was something no one could match. Shohei was a top-tier hitter and pitcher for the second year in a row. Again, no one had ever done this. Not in the modern game, and just when it looked like he'd peaked, 2023 hit. It's another monster year, another MVP. This time, he was the first player to win the award unanimously, twice. But despite all the success, something was always hanging over him. Could his body keep up? Would all this finally catch up to him?
Late that season, the answer was yes. He tore a ligament in his elbow again. Pitching was done for the year. It was a big blow, but even then, he didn't slow down at the plate. He kept hitting, stealing, and kept leading. And with free agency around the corner, everyone was watching. He wasn't just the best player. He was about to become the most expensive one too. That offseason, the sweepstakes for Shohei were wild. Rumors flew everywhere. New York, San Francisco, and even Toronto. But in the end, he stayed in LA and just changed teams. The Dodgers gave him $700 million. That number alone broke records. But the way he structured the deal, with most of the money deferred, showed something more significant. He wasn't just chasing cash. He wanted to win. And right away, he showed why the Dodgers bet so big. With the Dodgers, Shohei entered a new chapter. New team, new jersey, same mission. Do what no one else can. And he didn't waste time proving he was still that guy. Even though he wasn't pitching in 2024, he didn't need the mound to dominate. His bat and his speed were enough to shake the league. He came out swinging, literally. Homers were flying off his bat. He was crushing balls out of every stadium. And while pitchers were still trying to figure out how to stop him, he added another weapon: his legs. Shohei was stealing bases like he was born for it. That's what made this season different. He wasn't just a slugger anymore. He wasn't just a pitcher recovering from injury. He became a full-on threat in every part of the game. By August, he had joined the 40-40 club with 40 home runs and 40 steals. That alone was rare. But Shohei wasn't done. He pushed past the line. He kept stealing and kept hitting. And then it happened. That 50th homer, that 50th steal. One man, two impossible numbers. No one had done it before. No one might do it again. And then, the game that changed everything. 6 hits, 3 homers, 2 steals, 10 RBIs, all in one night. It's the kind of game that sounds fake if you read it on a stat sheet. It wasn't just the best game of the season. It might have been the best game ever played by one person. Baseball is more than 150 years old, and this had never happened. That night, the Dodgers won big. They locked in their playoff spot. And for Shohei, it was special. He was heading to the postseason for the first time in his whole MLB career. After years of scoring for teams that fell short, he was finally on a squad built to go the distance. And now, fans everywhere were wondering, what happens when the game's most dangerous player finally gets a chance on baseball's biggest stage? Shohei Ohtani didn't just break records. He broke the way we think about what one player can do. This wasn't just another great season. This season proved there's GOAT talk, and then there's Shohei.